Have you ever seen one of those huge multi-million-dollar projects, something that's been in the works for years, just completely and utterly fall apart right at the finish line? It's that moment when all the hard work is supposed to pay off and instead, it just crashes and burns. Well, today, we're going to unpack the secret blueprint for making sure that never, ever happens.
So what do you think it is? What's the culprit? You might guess it's bad code, or maybe terrible project management, or the budget just spiraled out of control. And look, those are all great guesses, but the real silent killer, the one that sneaks up on even the most brilliant teams, is something we just don't think about until it's way too late.
Yep, it's this. The installation. That final, treacherous step, the actual moment you try to put the new system into the real world, into the hands of the people who are actually supposed to use it. It's the moment of truth, and it's exactly where countless amazing projects go to die.
And here's why it's so critical. A botched rollout can absolutely sink an otherwise perfect project. I mean, it doesn't matter one bit how elegant your software is if the launch itself is just pure chaos.
So, what does that chaos actually look like in the real world? Well, picture this. The new hardware, it's not even plugged in. The staff are just staring at these new screens with absolutely zero training. Someone, accidentally loads last year's data into the brand new system. And then, when things inevitably start breaking, nobody has a clue who to call for help. And for the final nail in the coffin, someone turns off the old, reliable system way too soon, leaving everyone totally stranded. It's a complete nightmare, and it's 100% preventable.
But what if there was a way to navigate that minefield? A proven, battle-tested blueprint that could turn all that potential chaos into a smooth, controlled, and successful launch? Well, there is. And it comes from a place that knows a thing or two about complex, high-stakes deployments.
That's right, the U.S. military. I mean, when you're deploying complex systems where failure just isn't an option, you get really, really good at planning. So they developed this incredibly comprehensive standard to ensure success. It's called the Software Installation Plan, or SIP for short.
Now, don't let the word document fool you into thinking this is just more boring paperwork. It's not. Think of the SIP as the architect's final blueprint for a skyscraper. It is a complete game plan that maps out every single step, every resource, and every person you need to get the software installed and running perfectly where it actually counts.
And check this out. When you look at the official definition from the standard itself, a really crucial detail just jumps out. Notice it's not just about, copying files. It specifically calls out preparations, user training, and conversion from existing systems. So the key takeaway here is that it's about planning for the entire human and technical world around the software.
So, how do we actually use this thing? Well, it all breaks down into 3 core pillars, and it all starts with the first and most important one: defining the mission with absolute, rock-solid clarity.
The very first part of this plan is all about one thing: killing ambiguity. What is the official name of this system? What's the exact version number we're installing today? Not last week's version, today's. Who's paying for this? Who's the sponsor? And who actually built it? By forcing you to answer these simple questions, it makes sure everyone is on the exact same page from the get-go.
And it goes deeper than just names and numbers. The plan demands a system overview. In other words, what's the purpose of this software? What problem is it actually solving? What's its backstory? This makes sure that everyone involved, from the super technical engineer to the person using it every day, understands the why behind the mission.
Okay, mission defined. We know the what and the why. Now we move on to pillar 2, assembling the team and tools. This is where we get into the who and the with what. This is the logistical heart of the whole operation.
And this checklist from the standard, wow, this is where you realize we're not just talking about software anymore. We're arranging lodging and travel because a tired, stressed-out team makes dumb mistakes. We're making sure every single manual is available because assumptions cause chaos. We are meticulously planning out training, arranging tech support, and carefully managing that terrifying switchover from the old system. The incredible level of detail is the whole point. The plan forces you to account for literally everything. You don't just need people, you need the right personnel with the exact skills required. You need the facilities, the physical classrooms, the server racks, the workstations, and you need the support materials. The boring stuff that can stop a billion-dollar project dead in its tracks, like data tapes or even, believe it or not, special paper forms.
All right, mission defined. team and tools assembled. Now for the final pillar, executing the plan. This is it. This is the step-by-step playbook for game day, for the moment the launch actually kicks off.
And this isn't just guesswork, it's a precise, repeatable procedure. Step 1, install the software. Step 2, immediately run diagnostics to make sure it's working. Step 3, you load the local site-specific data. Now, step 4 is pure genius. You run the new system in parallel with the old one, comparing the outputs to make sure everything matches perfectly. Then, and only then, you move to step 5, establishing how data gets updated from here on out. See? It turns a scary, complex event into a clear, calm process.
But honestly, this might be the most brilliant part of the whole thing. The plan has built-in empathy. It recognizes that the tech team and the end users speak completely different languages. So it makes you create two separate coordinated plans. The tech team gets a plan all about servers, networks, and code. And the users, they get their own plan focused on their daily schedules, their tasks, and how they'll do their jobs. It's just an elegant way to make sure everyone wins.
So when you kind of zoom out from this specific military document, you start to see something much bigger. This isn't really just about software, or even the military. It's a universal set of principles for pulling off any complex project.
These principles are absolutely timeless. First, define the mission. You got to know your what and your why. Second, plan the logistics. Get your people, your places, and your tools ready. Third, create the playbook. Detail the step-by-step how. And finally, and this is maybe the most important, focus on the people. Always remember you're planning for both the technical expert and the everyday user.
So, the bottom line, the one thing you should take away from all of this is right here. A failure to plan the installation is, quite simply, a plan to fail the entire project. And that leaves us with one final thought. As you go about your week, just think about this. What's the one project you're involved with right now that desperately needs a better installation plan? Because answering that question, well, that might just be the most valuable thing you do all week.